Quick breakdowns of the series thus far. Game 2 with the Nets, it just basically proved more of what we saw at the end of Game 1 with the Nets and Celtics. The Celtics just can't compete with them. They're undermanned, and they just don't have the firepower. This is so unfair, and I'll tell you why. The Nets are the only team in the playoffs who are essentially getting a tune-up in the first round. All the other first rounds are like legit, like first round battles. Legit first round battles where teams have to strategize. You know, the higher seed knows they can win the series, but they still have to like really work hard and figure things out. With the Nets, they're not figuring anything out. This is just a bunch of pickup games for them. So the Nets have the advantage over everyone. Like, they didn't get to play a lot together in the regular season, but now in these high pressure playoff games with a little buffer, because they're coming out the gate whooping that ass, they know that we don't have to really play that hard to win. So for them, it's just they're just getting ready for the next round, whoever that may be. That's so unfair, but yeah, I think the Celtics can get a game. Will they get a game? I don't think so. I think they can, so they have the ability to, but will they? And that's the thing with the Celtics. The leadership is not strong. So when I mean that, I mean Brad Stevens is good X and O's. He can't speak to the players. Jason Tatum is a great talent. He doesn't lead anybody on the team. Their leader on the team is Marcus Smart, and he does some of the craziest things on the court that really cost them a lot of games. So they can win a game, but will they? No. Lake Show against the Phoenix Suns. It's bittersweet because Chris Paul, the injury, his body has betrayed him again. And I know that feeling because, you know, I tore my Achilles and stuff like that. You just don't know, like, when you see somebody who, before they were injured and then they get injured and then how they come back and they rehab and then just for something else to happen, it is the worst, especially for the CP3. It's a shoulder contusion, but you can tell that he's missing a lot of feel in his hands, so he can't really be aggressive as he wants to be because he can't feel the basketball half the time. So it might be something like a pinched nerve. It could be anything. It could be something like really weird. That being said, if he's hurt, it's really going to be Lakers in 5. Because what they did and what they showed was they could up the ante on defense, which they did. The rotations were on point. And then down the stretch, LeBron and AD can take over. So AD hit a big 3 down the stretch, and LeBron hit a big 3 down the stretch to put the game out of reach for the most part. And on top of that, if you think about it, the Lakers are going home where guys like Caldwell Pope, Wesley Matthews, Caruso, all these other guys, they're going to play much, much, much more better. They're going to get that home cooking, and they're going to blitz, they're going to run, and the Suns are in really big trouble, especially with the injury to Chris Paul. You know, Ayton is a big plus, but the Lakers have big bodies: Drummond, Gasol, Harrell, Anthony Davis. So they just have so many big bodies that keep coming in waves. It's going to be uphill battle for the Suns. And what they showed, right, is Devin Booker is amazing, but they showed that he sometimes hunts fouls, sort of like a Trae Young. And if you just stay in front of him, legally guard in front of him and make him make tough shots, he's not making half of those shots. And they proved that. They proved that, especially down the stretch. They were in Book's face, and the only reason why the Suns were staying close down the stretch is because they kept getting to the foul line. Dallas Mavericks versus the Los Angeles Clippers. This series is over. Luka Doncic has snatched their hearts from them. And game 2, you know, I'm not going to blame Kawhi and I'm not going to blame Paul George. Only thing bad with Paul George to me was he went 1 for 7 from 3. And Kawhi did guard Luka some. George, I don't think he really guarded him a lot. They scored enough for them to win the game. They combined for the 69, about 70 points. You should win that game if others chip in. The problem is guys like Patrick Beverly, Serge Ibaka, Morris, they're not giving you that 10 to 12 that you really need consistently and 10 rebounds. They're not, you know, Patrick Beverly can't guard anybody out there. Like, they're abusing him. Like, they put him in the post and they're forcing rotations and stuff like that. that game for the first half for them to go 73-71, that just shows you how much defense was being played. It was absolutely none. Absolutely none. They're already hitting 100 plus in the third quarter. So for that to really happen like that, and the Clippers calling card is we have Kawhi, we have Paul George, you have the best wing defenders since Scotty and Mike. You can't let this guy get off. And that's why the series is over. Because not only is he getting off, like I told y'all before, Kristaps Porzingis didn't play in the bubble, and now he's here. That changes the shape, the landscape of the team. That puts guys like Hardaway in the proper position. That lifts the shoulders off of all these bench guys. Everybody that's coming in, there's no pressure on you because Luka's going off, Porzingis is going off. It's like, so you're just adding to the band. You're just jumping in. And they stole home court advantage, took a 2-0 lead. It's over. It's over. Kawhi, he really has to examine his options. He has to go somewhere where he's going to get consistent support. And I'm not just talking about the last couple games or whatever. Mentally, Paul George isn't there. He's not the Paul George of Indiana. It has nothing to do with his leg injury. It has nothing to do with that. He's been healed up. He's fine. He's been cleared. It's more of a mental issue where it seems like there's something personal going on in his life that we really can't even speak to. You know, he's been through a lot in his personal life these past 3 or 4 years that we can't really speak to. But that's what's really bothering him. It's not the game. It's a lot of personal stuff that he's going through, which one day it'll come out. But this is not good for the Clippers. That's it. And here's the best part, right? This proves my theory what I told you guys. I said Doc wasn't the problem. When they were up 3-1 last year against the Nuggets, Doc was great. They lose, it's all Doc's fault. No, Doc wasn't ever the problem. It was the guys, and Doc made the best decision. He took the blame. Went to Philly, got them the number 1 seed in the East. Now what are you going to say? We needed Paul George. We needed the time to gel. Y'all had training camp. Now what's the excuse? No excuse. They purposely avoided the Lakers so they could play the Dallas Mavericks. And now they're in an 0-2 hole. Who's Junction? Well, who's Hoopla? Like, comment, subscribe.